Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rechak Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Deuteronomy, the 5th chapter. And Moses called all Israel and said unto them, Hear, O Israel, the statutes and judgments which I speak in your ears this day, that ye may learn them, and keep and do them. Because remember, Moses is basically reiterating this because this is a new generation. The Lord our God made a covenant with us in Horeb, same place as Sinai. The Lord made not this covenant with our fathers, but with us, even us, who are all of us here alive this day, and talked with you face to face in the mount out of the midst of the fire. I stood between the Lord and you at that time, being a mediator, to shew you the word of the Lord, for ye were afraid by reason of the fire, and went not up into the mount. So Moses was the mediator, right? He was the one in between. Because Israel was afraid, Moses had to be the one to go into the mountain to hear the words of the Lord and the instructions, and then come down to the people and say, the Lord said this, that, and the third. Do you agree? They said yes. He said, okay. He goes back up to the Lord. Lord, they said they agree. Okay, go ahead and do this sacrifice, and let's make this thing, official. He comes down, and then boom, boom, boom. Okay. So reading verse 4 again and continuing straight into verse 6. The Lord talked with you face to face in the mount out of the midst of the fire, saying, I am the Lord Yahweh thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage. Thou shalt have none other gods before me. Thou shalt not make thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters beneath the earth. You're not supposed to make any idols, not to make them look like birds, angels, the sun, the moon, fish, beasts, none of that. Thou shalt not bow down thyself unto them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God. So the Most High is a jealous God. When you do that, it gets him really angry. He's not going to say, oh, that's fine. You spent some time with Molech, and then you come to me after. No. Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. And that's because the fathers come back in the reincarnation within the third and fourth generation as those children. So whatever iniquity they may have done, the Lord, they're not going to escape it. It's going to come right back on them. And shewing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. And when you read this, in the NLT, it says, but I lavish unfailing love for 1,000 generations on those who love me and obey my commands. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. And when you go into that word vain, it's basically like worthless, right? And when you don't regard something, you disrespect it, right? You use it, you misuse it. Okay, and the Lord warns against that, because his name is not just any name you could just play around with it. For the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Keep the Sabbath day to sanctify it, as the Lord thy God hath commanded thee. 6 days thou shalt labor, and we know the Sabbath is what? Based on a new moon, right? So when the new moon comes in, that's the first day of the month. That is a Sabbath, and then every 7 days, right? Every week, you could say. 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thine ox, nor thine ass, nor any of thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates, that thy manservant and thy maidservant may rest as well as thou. So everybody is supposed to rest. No shop, no opening shop, no going out to buy this, that, and the third. Because if there's a buyer, people are going to sell. So you ain't going to have none of that. Everybody got to rest. And remember that thou wast a servant in the land of Egypt, and that the Lord thy God brought thee out of thence through a mighty hand and by a stretched out arm. I mean, it was a powerful deliverance. Therefore the Lord thy God commanded thee to keep the Sabbath day. Honor thy father and thy mother, as the Lord thy God hath commanded thee. And that goes into, obviously respecting them, right, and fearing them, but also taking care of them, okay, monetarily and whatever means that they need, that thy days may be prolonged, and that it may go well with thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. So you will live long if you do that. Thou shalt not kill. The word here is murder. Okay. When you go into the word kill, let's see what it says here. Ratazach, all right, which is to murder. That is premeditated. Okay, you're not supposed to murder. So thou shalt not kill, or thou shalt not murder, neither shalt thou commit adultery, right? Adultery is when a man has sexual intercourse with a married woman, or when a woman has sexual intercourse with a man that is not her husband. Okay, and to be specific, a married woman, right? A woman that already has, let me say it that way, a woman that already has a man, she already has a husband, she goes and she has sex with another man, she is committing adultery. That is how a woman commits adultery. A man commits adultery when he goes and has sex with a woman that already has a husband. He is committing adultery with her. Neither shalt thou steal. That's pretty straightforward. Neither shalt thou bear false witness against thy neighbor. You're testifying falsely. You said you were there. You saw something. You weren't there. You didn't see it. That's a lie. Neither shalt thou desire thy neighbor's wife. Right? You're coveting your neighbor's wife. Why? Because it'll lead to adultery. Neither shalt thou covet thy neighbor's house, his field, or his manservant, or his maidservant, his ox, or his ass, or anything that is thy neighbor's. Now, you may admire the fact that he has all these things. It may inspire you to work hard and get your own, but you're not supposed to, no, I want his wife. It has to be his wife. I want her. No, that's not good. That's bad. That's very bad. And Yahweh Shai mentions that, because then you start to lust after her in your own heart, in your own mind, and in your mental reality, you've already committed adultery with her. And if you can commit adultery with her in your mind, knowing it's adultery, then even if you haven't done it physically, the Lord knows, if given the right opportunity, you would. So you don't regard his law, so you don't fear him. Verse 22, these words the Lord Yahweh spake unto all your assembly in the mount, out of the midst of the fire, of the cloud, and of the thick darkness, with a great voice. And he added no more. And he wrote them in 2 tables of stone, and delivered them unto me. Right, the same tables that Moses broke the first time, because he was angry when he came down and saw that they were worshiping a golden calf. And it came to pass, when ye heard the voice out of the midst of the darkness, for the mountain did burn with fire, that ye came near unto me, even all the heads of your tribes and your elders. And ye said, behold, the Lord Yahweh our God hath shewed us his glory and his greatness, and we have heard his voice out of the midst of the fire. We have seen this day that God doth talk with man, and he liveth. Now therefore, why should we die? For this great fire will consume us. If we hear the voice of the Lord our God any more, then we will die, or then we shall die. And they were saying that because they were very afraid, number one. But when you read this in the NLT, right, it says, but now, why should we risk death again? Right? So, hearing the voice of God alone and living is a miracle in itself. I don't think we want to risk that again, right? If the Lord our God speaks to us again, we will certainly die and be consumed by this awesome fire. Awesome meaning like it's something to be at awe at, right? Astonishing. For who is there of all flesh that hath heard the voice of the living God, speaking out of the midst of the fire, as we have, and lived? Go thou near and hear all that the Lord our God shall say, and speak thou unto us all that the Lord our God shall speak unto thee, and we will hear it and do it. So you be our mediator. You go and hear it, and you come and talk to us, and we'll do it. And the Lord heard the voice of your words when ye spake unto me. And the Lord said unto me, I have heard the voice of the words of this people, which have spoken unto thee. They have well said all that they have spoken. So in everything they said, they actually spoke right. They spoke with wisdom. Oh, that there were such an heart in them, that they would fear me and keep all my commandments always, that it might be well with them and with their children forever. So the Lord said, for once, these people actually spoke something sensible, right? Oh, that they would always have hearts like this, that they might fear me and obey all my commands. If they did, they and their descendants would prosper forever. Go, say to them, get you into your tents again. But as for thee, stand thou here by me, and I will speak unto thee all the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which thou shalt teach them, that they may do them in the land which I give them to possess it. So I gave you the commandments, right? The 10 Commandments on this the two tables of stone, and that is yes, you're going to have that. But in addition to that, there are statutes, judgments, and so on that you have to teach them as well. Ye shall observe to do therefore as the Lord your God hath commanded you. Ye shall not turn aside to the right hand or to the left. So you're not going to deviate from it at all. Ye shall walk in all the ways which the Lord your God hath commanded you, that ye may live, and that it may be well with you, and that ye may prolong your days in the land which ye shall possess. And that brings us to the end of Deuteronomy, the 5th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rechak Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.